Hi, Social Cam. Hey, I want to do a quick video. This is mostly for Beachbody coaches, or if you're thinking about becoming a Beachbody coach, either way. Um, a lot of times you hear successful Beachbody coaches say, "Hey, this is something anyone can do. I did it. I'm no different than anyone else. Anyone can do this," and they leave it at that. And then you become a Beachbody coach, and 3 years later somebody else had like success at 3 years where they're into the six-figure income, and you're like, I'm doing what they did or whatever, and you're like, you don't have the same income, and you're like, well, they say anybody can do this. What am I doing wrong? It's not what you're doing wrong. Okay, I think that every coach needs to understand this. A lot of times, those successful Beachbody coaches are not, when they're speaking, they're not thinking about where they got started from. And it kind of sounds like a lot of coaches. I don't think they mean to do this. Some maybe do, or some maybe just aren't totally conscious of it. But it sounds like they're throwing their success in your face, and it makes you feel like crap, and you don't want to do anything with your business. As a matter of fact, if you're one of their downline, you're thinking, you know what? If I quit and I take my downline with me, that's going to cut into their business, and I think I'll just do that because they're making me feel like crap, throwing their success in my face. And guess what? Without me and my downline, they're not successful. So here's what I would tell you to do about that, and that is think about the advantages. Everybody comes into Beachbody coaching with certain advantages and disadvantages, and some are more advantaged than others when they start. And very few people actually take into account their own life experience when they become a Beachbody coach. So, for example, if somebody has a background in customer service or sales and it's a long background, sure, maybe they haven't had a great deal of financial success, but they might be very, very good at what they do. And then they take that customer service experience and bring it over here, and they're excellent at it. And they're really, really good at dealing with people from different personalities and different emotions. And that success that they had before transfers over to Beachbody. So they come in with certain talents, skills, and abilities. Other people may have computer skills that they can bring to Beachbody. I have an acting background. I'm trained in acting and comedy, and those are skills and people skills that I can bring into it. But people still a lot of times piss me off too. So I have that kind of disadvantage going for me because I don't really have a lot of patience with people. It's not about people saying yes or no to me. It's just about people just dealing with stupidity. Wow, that's very difficult for me for what I consider to be stupidity. And yeah, that's my opinion, but it's still a disadvantage sometimes. I gotta like working on overcoming that, right? So anyhow, we all have different advantages. Some people come in as coaches and they have like all of it. They have a really good job. They're making $250,000 a year. They have a client base to draw from because of their other job, and they can actually pay for to have a really good website and what's called SEO, search engine optimization. And they can pay for that stuff, so they can take their money and they can invest 10 or 20 or $30,000 they may have saved up, and they invest that into their Beachbody business, and it very quickly generates that 10, 20, or $30,000 back. And then they're signing new coaches and they're plugging their coaches into that system that they just paid to have created. Some people do that, and very, very few coaches talk about the advantages that they came into this business with, because they want you to believe that wherever you are, you can do this. And that is absolutely true. That's true. But what needs to happen is you need to think about your advantages. What are the advantages that you have come into this business with that you can take with you? Because they're probably different than the successful coaches that you know. Um, you know, some successful coaches come in with the advantage that they're hot. There's some female coaches that are really picturesque, and they attract a really quickly can attract a wide market simply by posting a YouTube video of them looking really good, looking really hot. I mean, that's honesty. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to say, well, I did this because I look really hot. But that's the truth, and you need to know it. I'm kind of funny sometimes. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I really piss the heck out of people, piss off people a lot. But, you know, that's me, and I'm being honest. And some people are shy, and there are different, like, so there's advantages and disadvantages. You need to know what, you just, like, figure out what your advantages are and write them down on a sheet of paper. And I'm going to do a better video about this, but I wanted to get these thoughts out. And, you know, like, I know it's kind of haphazard, but, you know, it kind of clicked in my brain, and I'm like, I'm the kind of person now, I just grab my phone and do a video, and if it sucks, it sucks, and maybe I can reformat it later and redo the video later, look at this one and go, okay, I'll take the good ideas and take this mumbling out. But anyway, think of your advantages. And when you talk to your upline, ask your upline, say, okay, what was your background before you came? Were you, like, really, really good in sales? For example, I have some people in my team that I deal with that are upline and crossline that were excellent at customer service prior to coming into Beachbody, or had a background where they were like the #1 salesperson in a furniture store before, so they had that background. Their drive is already different coming into this business than maybe somebody else who just doesn't have that. Maybe they've had an office job, or they're a secretary, or the only people that they've had to deal with are their coworkers, or they're in the tourism industry where, yes, they deal with people, but they don't have to ask people to buy anything because people are already buying stuff. You know, maybe there's a lot of people who come into this business, they want the business part because they're only making $8 to $11 an hour, and 20 an hour, 30 an hour, 100,000 a year, that's just never been in their realm of reality. And it's really, really hard to get that in your brain that can be real for you. If your whole family background has been under 100,000 a year, if your family background, you were on food stamps, or they were on food stamps, I mean, these are really tough emotional challenges that you have to overcome. And your upline, they're dealing with your why. Oh, if your why is powerful enough. Okay, that's a load of crap, because everybody thinks that they have a powerful enough why, but until they deal with that internal crap that is preventing them from their conscious why and their subconscious why, very different, because your subconscious why is protecting you from the things that you think are going to hurt you. And if you've never been in that reality where you've had a six-figure income, that reality could very well be subconsciously, you're afraid of it. It's hurting you, and your brain's trying to protect you from it. So you have to deal with that. So there's so much psychology that you deal with in being a coach. But also there are those psychological skill and talent advantages that you come into this business with. So really, let's make that a focus, and we'll talk about that. I'm going to try to post this in the groups where it like counts. Once I get it on social cans. It's a long video. It turned out to be 8.5 minutes long, and I need to get my workout in anyway. The E&E is kicking in. Time to do pure cardio. All right, everyone, have a great day. I hope this has been a positive message for you. It's meant to be positive, not negative, but we also need to deal with some realities that a lot of times these successful coaches, they don't deal with realities. It's like, oh, forget about that. If we forget about it and ignore it, it'll just go away. No. It's not like that. Anthony Robbins says you can't just be like positive thinking all the time and say, oh, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. The weeds will take your garden. You have to deal with the negative crap and get the weeds out so you can then separate the chaff and really get the good stuff, right? So let's get the good stuff. Let's think of our advantages, and let's do this together as a team.